All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar. Look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great.
Comfortable, Mr. President, with the current value of the dollar. Do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar. Look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great.
Comfortable, Mr. President, with the current value of the dollar. Do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar. Look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great.
Comfortable, Mr. President, with the current value of the dollar. Do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar. Look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great.
While job gains have remained low, the unemployment rate has shown some signs of stabilization, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. Having lowered our policy rate by 75 basis points over the course of our previous 3 meetings, we see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward both our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. While job gains have remained low, the unemployment rate has shown some signs of stabilization, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged. Having lowered our policy rate by 75 basis points over the course of our previous 3 meetings, we see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward both our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. While job gains
Hey, all gravity, any day above ground living. Well, it's now an evening above ground living. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. You know what happened when you're on Wednesdays. You got to go out and hump something. There was a reason why I played all them clips. Hey, MAGA, is this your man? Is this your Ace Boon Coon? Is this the guy who told you we're going to be doing all the winning? Tariffs are great. We collecting all this money. That's what he said, right? That's what he said. Motherfucker said everybody going to be under the wing, sound like the fried rice. Japan bent the knee. They out there showing videos of Japanese tourists coming back from America with an American flag. Like that's supposed to be meaning something. They got rappers out there, fam. They got the rappers out there touting the political message. Even though we just heard a year and a half ago them cackling, saying that if you bring out rappers on a stage for a political candidate or somebody that's politically related, that you are morally bankrupt. All the while they're sitting there acting like a bunch of Hollywood shills because they stay talking about woke and entertainment shows that they told you for years that they were not going to watch because it was woke. Your man living at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that we're paying to keep there, like the prostitute that he is. He's technically a John, but for this part, he's a prostitute. He carving us up for Asia, and they don't see it. Y'all see it because I've been telling you this since 2023. And it's very comforting to know that very soon it will reveal itself. And we know what they're going to say. They're going to say, this is good for America. They out here eroding your rights. They out here championing us losing trade wars. They out there talking about, oh, we finally passed Japan in steel production. Lest they forget that they just allowed and watched their man buy our biggest steel producer in this country, sold it to the Japanese. While they were sitting online complaining that they shouldn't be selling American corporations to foreign entities, now all of a sudden, everything quiet. Oh, yes, family, we will become the United States of Asia. We got a lot to look at. But before we get into all that, let's see who's in the building. GDS, hello. Reparations Nation, hello. Kira Clark, hello. Sybil, hello. Reparations Nation, hello. I said you already, but I'm going to say it again. Miss Nisi, hello. Emmanuel, hello. Emperor Rex, hello. For those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, hello. We got to get to the customary house cleaning, and then I know it's not sexy topics, but we gotta have a conversation because there's a lot going on that you need to know. So let's get to it.
Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now I'm going to start.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
I kind of want to start with this. Now, I know the graph is a little too hard to see because and trust me, I tried everything I know to enhance the photo, but you know, we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it. Qatar, you know, Trump's new buddy. You know, the country that funds terrorism. This is what he told us. They're out here. They're all over the US. I know y'all said it was Israel. Let me ask you a question, family. Put a one in the chat if you have heard of a bill that a certain representative has put out there that says that if you have dual citizenship from another country, you should not be a sitting US politician in Congress. Put a one if you've heard that. Put a two if you haven't. Because I'm going to expose some hypocrisy tonight. I'm going to give y'all a second. Because we got to talk about them folk.
And a lot of white folk have demonstrated eloquently that they don't have no sense.
Yeah, it's out there. They want to sit up here and talk to us like we don't know what we doing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I find it funny, right? I find it funny that we have people in Congress that want to do that. They let the Israel people do it. It was all cool. Now, all of a sudden, because Qatar is starting to raise themselves up and their influence is starting to be recognized, now you want to put this bill out? It's funny. Ilhan Omar, that my kid is here, but that C word that I was thinking of. Yeah. Arab. Rashid Tlaib, Arab. All of a sudden, the Arab nations are starting to have a lot of political influence in Washington. This bill starts to get a lot more traction. Because remember, they had this bill out when people were getting exposed for having ties to Israel. And you see how quickly that died. Now, all of a sudden, the Arabs are giving it new life. Okay. So this is on LinkedIn. It says the architecture of influence, Qatar's long game in the United States. Now, I know it's a lot. We're not gonna read all of it. We're gonna just get to the nitty gritty. Remember how we said last year, early, about a year now, how Trump's administration is DEI. We have to watch out for it. You see these names, Pam Bondi. They said this was a lie. Boeing is going to make planes for the Qatari military. Remember, they said that was a lie. Then months later, you start hearing that they might be coming over with Egypt as well to train here. MAGA got upset a little bit. Didn't they get upset a little bit? And then it just died. They said we got to protect our allies. You see how the game works. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff, you know, the one that said Elon ain't getting no close to the president. There you go. She worked for Qatar. Well, for Qatari interests, we should say. Don't want to label her like Tucker Carlson one time. Kash Patel. Moonlighted as an unregistered consultant for Qatar, skirting Foreign Agent Registration Act or FARA requirements. Tim Pool, since you love to talk about FARA so much when you were sitting up there defending Lauren Chen, can we have that? Will you say something about Kash? No, you won't. Should be easy. He's a person of color, allegedly. Should be easy. Steve Witkoff, Trump's longtime friend, senior advisor, and Middle East envoy, saw his teetering $623 million stake in New York's Park Lane Hotel rescued by Qatar's sovereign wealth fund. And he's made buku money off that deal. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Congress, lobbying firms. I told y'all about those lobbyists. That's why I said vote everybody out. You see, small army of high-powered lobbying firms, Ballard Partner, Avenue Strategies, DLL Piper, retained by Qatar. I told you, this is crazy out here. You think that rabbit hole is deep? That rabbit hole is deep. Very deep. And you might ask yourself, what is so important about ballot partners, just for an example? Well, we're going to give you a hint. Remember when Trump said that rare earths don't exist? And it was a stupid name. Remember when he said that at Davos last week? We remember. Funny. Something came out a couple days ago. Hey, 47. We have a question for you. I think we do.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
We have a question. Why did you say that something didn't exist and it was a stupid name, but you spent almost $2 billion to put a stake into something that doesn't exist? And I hate using BBC, but New York Times was behind a paywall. So yeah, you want to explain this to us? I thought rare earths were nothing. Brother Torian said, why am I playing Enru Fudu's relatives? Because they gunshot in this country and them fools over there on the right don't even realize it. But that's okay. We haven't gotten to the point yet where all Arabs are terrorists again. We haven't gotten there yet. It's the 25th year anniversary. So we ain't there yet. Probably by the summer. But yeah, the reason why I brought that up is Ballot Partners has what? Critical minerals practice. Kind of funny that he get to talk to people in a sector he says doesn't exist. And they're tied to Qatar, who's in BRICS, who is also in the rare earth sector and trying to maintain their hold on it. But I thought it didn't exist. Oh, don't worry, Hectic Way. We're going to get to the AI soon. Oh, we're going to get there. But yeah, they didn't want to tell you that now, did they? Now, why should they? You get in trouble. Avenue Strategies. That sounds like they should be doing advertising for Fashion Avenue, right? You think so? You would think so. But then you figure out what the game is. Propaganda. We know that word well. The propaganda has been very potent the last year, has it not? Well, I think it makes sense based on what you're reading here, why the propaganda was so strong.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
Here's Avenue Strategies. We did a quick search. Yes, we did before the show started. And look what we found. They are a sales and marketing firm tied to Qatar. Now, how do you make Qatar look good so it doesn't piss off the American? I would not be surprised at the Super Bowl Qatar runs ads. It wouldn't surprise me. Avenue Strategies. At Avenue Strategies, we don't recycle campaigns. We engineer them from the ground up to deliver the highest quality acquisition possible. Our strategies are built to do more than just generate leads. We focus on attracting the right customers, those who convert, stay, and become loyal to your brand. Every campaign is crafted to maximize not just revenue, but long-term value, capturing meaningful data that fuels smarter decisions and deeper customer relationships. From first impression to long-term retention, our customer acquisition approach is designed to drive results that are measurable, scalable, and built to last. Interesting. Let's see who's on the team. Oh, well, can't do that. I don't know why they put that there. They have articles. Estee Lauder. You're shilling for Estee Lauder. Okay. We all know their history. We all know their history. I'm not going to go there today. I'm going to leave that one alone. Now let's look at this last one. Now this one we didn't search, but we'll search it together. DLA Piper. Let's look them up. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see. A global law firm. Well, you do need law. You got to circumnavigate those pesky little international laws, right? Kind of need that. By the way, they have an office here in Atlanta. So let's see. What do you do? Tell us where you want to be tomorrow. Our people will get you there with cutting edge legal and commercial insights. Let's see. Let's see what your capabilities are. Artificial intelligence and data analytics. Now, I have a question. Why would a law firm why is this their first thing? I'm just curious. I think somebody in here can answer me that. Why is the first thing on a law office website about AI and data analytics? I just ask it. Yes, GDS, it's wise. We take all their money. Hello, Ms. Neese. Yeah, anybody want to take a shot in the dark? Anybody? Data centers and digital infrastructure. Can we laugh? I think we should laugh. But before we laugh, Queen Coon got something to say to us.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Now, I ain't scared to ask these questions, but, you know, we got to put out the disclaimers and get mad at us if we start asking these questions. We too woke. I ask again, why is a law firm their first thing worry about AI and data centers? I guess the insurance, you know, on them data centers finna pay off real nice, I guess. Yeah. Then just to show you that they about that life, then they show you about litigation, arbitration, and investigations. Because God forbid they say something. You might get sued. So let's look. Ooh, artificial intelligence on a global scale. Hello, Skynet. Hello. Is it not beautiful? If only they would look. But again, you have said it outside of this platform. I've taught you this. MAGA don't know how to read or research, and it's a damn shame. If they even had a 6th grade education, like most of them don't have, they would have figured all this out, looked this shit up, and realized that they were getting played from November 15, 2022. But they didn't care about that because it was all about getting Trump back in there because they thought they were going to be winning and coasting off a white man like they usually do to the promised land. And we saw what happened last time y'all followed a white man into the promised land. Read your Bible if you don't know. But anyway, maximizing essential infrastructure. And what are you going to need for that? Rare earths. It's getting better. By the way, I think we're done with that. But do y'all want to laugh? Because I'm going to show you something even more hypocritical than that. Are y'all ready to laugh? Put the laughing emoji. You can pick anyone you want. We're going to have a bowl of laughs in a second because this next part is hilarious. Because this is them thinking that they know everything once again, and they don't know nothing. And when you present them with this knowledge, they're going to tell you that's lies. Because these data centers that I just showed you are going to be stockpiled with lawyers because people are going to sue. There's a reason why he started talking about civil rights. And, you know, his puppet shills start talking about, oh, civil rights ain't for the white man. Ain't right. And all that crap. Yeah. Y'all over there in MAGA land one time, y'all want to explain to me why y'all are letting the Arab world teach your kids? I know. They saying this right now.
Assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I'm lying. That's what they're gonna tell me later when I finally put this up as a clip. I'm lying that y'all's children have been getting educated. I know y'all want to say it was Israel and them Jews. I know that's easy. Y'all don't want to go attack them Arabs because you know them Arabs will really fuck you up. Oh, you don't believe me. I figured you didn't. I told y'all again, you think these rabbit holes are deep? No, these rabbit holes are deep.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
Remember when I showed you this? What does that say under academia? Let's read because, you know, MAGA can't really read because they're terrible. Qatar has become the single largest foreign donor to U.S. universities, with gifts exceeding $2.5 billion since 2001. Even in the midst of 9/11, they took $1 billion on average. Well, no, I'm sorry. They took about $100 million on average every year since them towers fell from a terrorist country. Allegedly. Not the allegedly that they took the money, but allegedly they're a terrorist. Allegedly. Georgetown, Ivy League. Carnegie Mellon, Ivy League. Northwestern, Ivy League. Texas A&M, they paid off Johnny Manziel. All host satellite campuses in Doha's education city funded by the Qatar Foundation. These partnerships, while academically valuable, create a powerful constituency of administrators, professors, and students with a vested interest in the Qatar relationship. Research topics and Middle Eastern studies programs can become subtly shaped by the source of their funding. They've been indoctrinating your kids for a quarter century that the Middle East is okay. You haven't figured out why all this Jewish hatred's been running around the last few years. Those protests at Columbia University was a whole psyop. I'm saying it. Qatar been feeding your kids. Now, we don't know if they touched the HBCUs, but we know damn well they went for the Ivy Leagues. And then what have you, if you've been on Twitter, what have you been hearing? Oh, they won't allow our kids to go to Harvard. They won't go to Yale. They're going to go get some colored kids there. Okay. Maybe your kids are inadequate. Maybe the Arab world realized that they actually want educated pawns. They don't need no suckers out there. I'm just saying. Think tanks and policy. Well, that's always a fun subject. Brookings Institute usually leans left. They got almost $15 million from Qatar. Atlantic Council House. Qatari funded centers and fellowships. The Atlantic Council. The Atlantic Council. Let's look up them. This should be fun. Oh, we didn't even get the good stuff yet. Shaping the global future together. This is their tagline. For those who don't believe me, there it is. They can't, I tell you, the scripts are beautiful. Right there on the front page. They didn't even try to hide it. Now they got me intrigued. So they say, based on a fact check, they have a moderate bias that favors pro-corporate and military interests, especially as it relates to Western interests. Okay. Now, you see this here? We're going to talk about this soon. There's a lot to unpack with this. And Trump and them finna be mad. TikTok's new ownership structure doesn't solve security concerns for Americans. Yeah, because why? They are not going to be the ones that has to staff it. They're not going to have to worry about it. ByteDance don't have to worry about that no more. They can steal data of everybody else. Now, Oracle and Silver Lake and the rest of them get to steal your data and circulate it around. Kira, no. You see how quick they got off Venezuela? Venezuela wasn't sexy enough. That's why they took it out of the algorithm. Back to Iran. Oh, Qatar got the golden toilets, but that's actually real gold. But isn't that wonderful? Pro-corporate and pro-military. Get some. Media and real estate. Al Jazeera's advertising dollars support major media outlets. Yes, they do. And I would not be surprised that these citizen journalists that MAGA got on their side might be on the low getting money from Al Jazeera. That might be hilarious. I kind of need that. Tucker Carlson is the most powerful white man in the country right now. I kind of need that to come out. They all out here talking about, oh, we getting doxxed. Oh, they won't let us do our job. All of a sudden, all of them are starting to say that. It would not be surprising to me if they either are under Al Jazeera's web or Al Jazeera started contacting them to take money. And you start seeing them still doing their citizen journalism, but you start seeing Al Jazeera stuff all over, watermarks or ads or whatever on their broadcast. It wouldn't shock me. Them fools will sell out. They will sell out for a dry ham sandwich. And they so dumb, they'll put the crust in the sandwich. That's right, I said it. They are nasty. But we continue. Al Jazeera's advertising dollars support major media outlets while its content provides, quote, access journalism to a region few can afford to cover. Meanwhile, the Qatar Investment Authority, the QIA, has become a financial cornerstone for iconic American assets. Hear this. From the Empire State Building to significant stakes in Volkswagen and Tiffany and Company. So MAGA, one of the most iconic buildings in this country, perhaps the world, in the biggest city in this country, Qatar got their money in it. Where's y'all's patriotism then? So Qatar owns a significant stake in this building, probably, which flies the American flag on top, but I don't hear y'all talking. While y'all ain't going to liberate the Empire State Building, I just want to know. Y'all over there talking about some gun rights. It acts as a white knight investor during crisis, as seen with its capital injection into U.S. banks during the 2008 financial meltdown. Well. You see how it gets deeper? I know a lot of y'all didn't know that. Yes, the Middle East helped bail us out. Yes. This transforms Qatar from a foreign state into a key stakeholder in American economic stability. And it wouldn't shock me if I find out that Qatar actually bailed out Trump a few times. It wouldn't shock me. But yes, capital injection. You think it was just us that paid that shit off? Nope. They needed all the non-white people to pay for this quote unquote bailout. Oh, yes, they did. The ultimate objective of this spending is insulation, not conquest. Right. Qatar purchases the right to act with strategic ambiguity to support Hamas while hosting a U.S. military base, to partner with Iran while selling gas to Europe. It ensures that any move to hold Qatar accountable is met with a chorus of concern from lobbyists, academics, bankers, and politicians about the collateral damage to American institutions, portfolios, and diplomatic capital. And you notice how they've never said anything about this, right? You notice that. Trump wanted to go bomb Iran. Who was one of the countries that told him no? Qatar. Israel tried the same thing. Qatar was one of them and told him, you better not. Saudi Arabia just went over there and told him, you're not flying over us to go get them. Defunding of public goods. Well, we've heard of that. Commodification of access. Triumph of transactionalism. Investments without strings. What are we getting from Qatar in exchange for them getting a cut of the $1 trillion that Trump planned to give them and already signed the deal for it? How much we in? Kira said they're a slave state. Partnerships without human rights conditions. This is, I find funny. Just like we found this funny today. Fed pauses interest rate cuts in first meeting of 2026. I wouldn't be surprised if they do this again. I think they're doing it again in April, I think. And they say no, especially coming into the heels of the summer. But if you need more, There you go. From 2021 to 2025, Biden's term and a little bit of Trump's, Qatar was the top foreign lobby by in-person meetings. 627 meetings. 627. Ukraine is next. The Dominican Republic and IT. Huh. Syria. And your man went in there the first day and bombed them. Top contacts of Qatar's lobby. Now, this is a legend until I can go find it. But look, Lindsey Graham. Yeah. Lindsey Graham damn near doubled the U.S. embassy in Qatar. Lindsey Graham. All right. Ted Cruz. Maybe that's where he was going. He was meeting the Qataris in California when he ran from his state again. Marco Rubio. That, you know, the guy that they say that is like the greatest thing next to Trump outside of JD. Marco. Look. Shackles off my feet. Tim Scott 17 times. Huh. You figured you'd have found one of them. There you go. Tim Scott taking Qatari money. Maybe that's why he was able to marry the white woman. She saw the bank account. She saw that direct deposit. They were telling y'all this way back last April. They told you this. But, you know, MAGA didn't want to listen because MAGA think they know everything. Hey, MAGA, why you got a whole bunch of Republicans on that list for Qatar, but y'all won't say nothing, right? It's all about them Jews. I know. It's just the Middle East. They're helping us. It can't be worse than that, right? Because you know, we got India. That's what they said. Modi is going to be the reason why BRICS falls. This is what I saw some of them say last year. Every time they saw Trump and Modi having good talks. Really? That's what we doing? I'm sure that's the truth, though, right? Y'all gonna tell me that's the truth, right?
This is the lamest fucking excuse. Only weak niggas say shit like this.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
You still want to tell me that India is the weak link? Oh, they saw what was going on in Vancouver. They want that. A whole gas area that's barely tapped, that could help BRICS. Damn near next to Russia. I bring that to Russia. Maybe I up my standing a little bit. I bring that to China, up my standing a little bit. Huh. Boost energy trade. Oh, I know. Y'all saw Carney say he gonna back off because Trump putting tariffs on. That's the plan. That's the plan. But okay. Y'all see this and think it's okay, right? But then I start looking again. And then Americans, we got to do better when we pick these leaders. This is why I said vote them all out. We got to do better. We got to really do better. Because, as we have said, and we've shown you videos of Sheehy Bolson saying this, Trump's main goal is to boost BRICS and to destabilize Europe. But it seems like Europe ain't going to go quietly into the night. What do I mean?
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
The EU done pissed off Scotty, as in Scott Bessent. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent slams EU-India trade deal, says Europe put commerce over Ukraine. Now, what he's referring to is NATO. Remember how Trump was running around saying, I'm getting them to pay the 5%. Uh-huh. And what they doing? They going to make their money. He said the deal made it clear why Brussels has balked at joining Washington's decision to impose 25% tariffs on India last year as part of push to reduce its purchases of Russian oil. Trump really thought he was going to stop Russian oil from flowing into Europe. This is how delusional he is and how delusional MAGA is. Very delusional. That's why you'll see them running around social media anytime Trump does something that Russia's like, they look indecisive, China look indecisive. They run outside and say, oh, Trump is big boying them. This is all part of the script, and you're falling for it. U.S. Secretary Scott Bessent said on Wednesday he was disappointed by Europe's decision to strike a major trade agreement with India, saying it showed Europe put trade ahead of the interests of the Ukrainian people. And you're shocked over this. You watch the UK put the interests of its own self-governance over the European Union, and they've been suffering since. You just figured this out. Okay. You just figured it out. Russia's technically a European country too, and they still want to do business with them, even though they're shitting on another country in their sphere of influence. And you just figured out that they would pull something like this. Europe. Okay. Bessent told CNBC that Europe had been buying refined products made in India with sanctioned Russian oil supplies and had been unwilling to match higher U.S. tariffs on Indian goods because they were separately negotiating a trade agreement. The European Union on Tuesday finalized a long-delayed trade deal with India that aims to boost two-way trade and reduce the bloc's reliance on the United States amid growing global trade tension. Now, they say they've been working on this deal for 2 decades. The deal is expected to double EU imports to India by 2032 by eliminating or reducing tariffs on 96.6% of traded goods by value, and will lead to savings of 4 billion euros or 4.8 billion US in duties for European countries, the EU said. Asked whether this deal and others among countries, excluding the United States, would threaten the US, Bessent said, they should do what's best for themselves, but I will tell you, I find the Europeans very disappointing. Still want to tell me that the Trump administration they love Europe, right? They do. The destabilization of Europe was always the end goal. It was always the modus operandi. Can't send the Arabs to do it. They've already assimilated into the European lifestyle. So what's the next best way to destabilize Europe as BRICS? You send Trump to do it. We'll put this in there. You could read the rest. It's hilarious to me. I could go over the Japan stuff, but I'm going to save that for another day because there's a lot in there that deserves its own upload or live. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet, but Japan going to disappoint us again. And once it disappoints us again, I want to see how MAGA is going to sit up there and take it. But we're going to continue, right? and this will be the last thing we talk about. Something interesting happened at a certain summit. Let's see if I can pull up the video. One of China's top officials took shots at us. Not black people, but they took shots at America. Let's see if I can find it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that. That might be a good video. We're going to talk about tariffs before we go. Because MAGA out here lying. You know how he kept saying we was getting like $600 billion in tariffs? Remember how he said that? And you got to love X, because X sat out here and fact checked what he said. You know, he's saying the AI woke now and all that. Fam, I want y'all to listen to this. This fool said, we collected over $600 billion in tariff revenue, right? MAGA lost their mind. Absolutely lost their mind. He said he used the tariff money to pay off the farmers, even though the farmers got money through an emergency fund. But okay, he got that. Look what his tariff policy did to small business in this country. And you tell me if he's the best man for the job.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in.
Do y'all see this now? MAGA, I'm surprised, ain't out here touting this story. Why y'all not helping this man? He's about to lay off people. His generational wealth is about to dry up. Why y'all not out here trying to save him? I think that's fair, right? Let's read. Actually, you know what? We can't really read it without this.
Wait, Wilson.
Oh, yeah. I don't understand why y'all don't listen. I take no joy in reading this, but this is just, again, to highlight how incompetent this man is in dealing in global business. Here we go. North Carolina sawmill owner blames Trump's tariffs for closing family business. Family business. Sixth generation lumberman Wilson Jones co-owned Mackey's Ferry sawmill in Roper, North Carolina, which exported hardwood to China and Vietnam until April 2025. Tariffs sparked Chinese retaliation duties up to 125%, crushing demand and forcing closure on July 1st with 50 layoffs. Jones called the policy an effing disaster that felt designed to shutter his business, though he stood by his votes. He voted for Trump 3 times. Replies to a resurfaced post mocked his plight with lines like, "You're getting what you voted for," while backers argued tariffs aid other U.S. jobs despite manufacturing losses. Do you hear this? The script is already in their DNA. So let's see. 3-time Trump voter who had to close his sawmill due to Trump's tariffs. When people talk about Liberation Day, I can't hide my sarcasm. We weren't liberated. At the time, it almost felt like those tariffs were designed to liberate me from our business entirely. Trump has a country to save. It's unfortunate some will be lost along the way. Got ratioed to hell. Let's see what else. Those Trump voters really need to suffer for their choice for president because they really believe they could have their cake and eat it too with their hatred and anger towards other Americans for just existing as a minority. Going in on this man. I feel bad for the workers. Y'all want more? I know y'all want more. What else we got? I don't see any MAGA funds to help them people who lost their job and help this man stay afloat. Well, what's this? The number of manufacturing jobs that have been lost since Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcement in April. 8,000 of those jobs were lost in December alone, 72 grand. Oh, but they talking about some cars. So the stuff that you can use every day, like paper, like firewood, structures for houses, the foundations. You can't get that. Well, we gonna get some data centers. And they're sitting there cheering this man. Don't you just love tariffs, family? Everything goes up, they make money, but we can't live without the stuff, so we pay the freight, and then they get mad. Look, Trump hails economy and weak dollar at Iowa rally anniversary. Huh? You said what? He didn't do that. What's this?
So, for example, last year, American markets significantly underperformed foreign markets. And people don't quite realize that. And the best asset class, in a sense, was gold, but think of that as being the money. So in answer to your question, I've learned, that was a lesson I learned, that if there's a depreciation in the value of money, it makes everything look like it's going up. So for example,
now his ancestors, his predecessors, they rigged the game, so he should know, but we're gonna let him say it again.
Example, last year, American markets significantly underperformed foreign markets. And people don't quite realize that. And the best asset class, in a sense, was gold, but think of that as being the money. So in answer to your question, I've learned, that was a lesson I learned, that if there's a depreciation in the value of money, it makes everything look like it's going up. So for example, last year.
And they were sitting there saying, oh, look, gold is at its highest peak ever. Because everybody has gold, right? We don't even have gold. We kept selling them off to Asia. He said it.
Dollar. Do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar. Look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great. You know, it's very interesting. If you look at China and Japan, I used to fight like hell with them because they always wanted to devalue their yen. You know that? The yen and the yuan. And they'd always want to devalue it. They devalue. And I said, not fair that you devalue because it's hard to compete when they devalue. But they always fought, no, our dollar's very good.
Wow. Well, what happens when you deflate the dollar? You can lie and say you're getting record revenue. For those who don't know, you can get record revenue if you devalue the dollar because it makes it look like everything is coming out cheaper. Remember what they said during Christmas? We had record spending because everything was up. People didn't want to have a sad Christmas. So yes, they went out and bought. But if we adjust that for inflation, it don't look like a lot. But, you know, you let them talk long enough. They're going to tell you what it is. But there you go. There's your boy. By the way, that's what they said. Look. Buy the dip. That's what they tell you. Buy the dip. Listen. Liquidate the crash. I keep telling y'all the tech is the only reason why the stock market is as high as it is. They want to go digital. Without OPEC and them countries buying up crazy amounts of oil, petrodollar is garbage. Then they don't want to deal with that anymore. Tanks the dollar. You charge it more for the freight, tanks the dollar. He like it. But you know, that's y'all's Trump. Y'all love that man. And you're gonna send your money over to Qatar. That's gonna be sitting there making them money. And you can't touch it. They'll never get it. But you know what? Let them learn. And for black people, like Usher, let it burn. Oh boy, fam. I think it's time. Stop reading that slave manual and read the realness. I think it's time for them to understand that their time is over. But hopefully you learned something. If you did a dumb job, if not, I try to be better next time. I'm going to go read this. I know there's something in here about that man and what's going on here. We gonna live righteously. You know what I'm saying? We know what Trump is doing. We know what he's doing.
Man, are you out of your man? What is boy? You peeling, nigga? Fuck you been doing?
That's right. He been peeling. So we will see y'all tomorrow for the Sambo Lorien Awards. And we got some interesting additions and candidates for those categories. And we're going to have fun. We might even open it up to the crowd. But enjoy the rest of your night. Y'all take care. Stay safe. And you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Time's up.
Get your ass up! We gotta get out of here now!
But did we have a good time here? Hello?
Gotta get your groove on.
At the end of the day gotta end.
And that's it.